Silent Hill 2. It's a good game. It's my first Silent Hill game ever. I didn't play the originals. They're just kind of too old for me. Me and this game, this franchise, we still go back a long way. I remember one time at GameStop, I've always wanted to play Silent Hill. I know they... I remember holding up the game case, it was the trilogy remastered or something. Or it was one, yeah, it was definitely 1, 2, and 3. This was years ago. But I'll never forget it. It's so weird how it just kind of stays with you like that. There's only been a few moments where I ever looked at games, like, I remember the first time when I bought Resident Evil 4 on the PS2, I remember picking up the game and everything. It's just things you don't forget. You see this picture, you see the name, and you just don't forget it. And I knew about Silent Hill beforehand. It's weird because I feel like I've known about it my whole life, but I just don't know where it began, or I can't explain it. I mean, this game have always had like a connection or a thing, or I don't know. I mean, it was a horror game. I was always into those in some way or another, but I don't know. To be fair, whenever I go to GameStop, I'd be there for like an hour just looking around, but I'm not sure because I can't remember anyone showing it to me. It's like I found it all myself. I just don't know how. I think that's kind of cool. I've always liked the movies. A lot of it probably had to do with the movies, honestly, especially, let's say especially 2, because Revelations. Because I remember watching Revelations in the theaters, 3D. I was actually with someone at the time. To watch it, not with someone, but yeah, it was cool. I'll never forget the movie either. I actually liked Revelations, even though I think it had a lot more to do with like Silent Hill 3, but there's a little bit of... It feels like there's a little bit of everything in Revelations, but... And then there's the first movie, which I assume had a lot more to do with the first game. So, it's just with that context in mind, when I jumped into playing Silent Hill 2 Remake, I only watched so much gameplay of like the older games here and there, bits and pieces, and never got exposed to a whole lot. Like, I had an idea of what the game was and what to expect, but for this I went in completely blind. I don't know, I was really excited. I got it early access 2 days early. It took me like 5 days to beat it. It's a pretty long game. I probably could have got it done sooner, but just, you know, things happen. You get distracted or whatever. I wanted to get it done sooner. But I don't know, it started off really slow. There was a lot of walking. Because beforehand, the only context I ever got was like some dude walking around, fog everywhere. That was about it. And that's kind of what happened here. Or at least at first. I didn't know if it was just going to be that the whole game, or... But I don't know, I guess I can't really spoil this game too much because it's been out for so many years, and this is technically a remake or whatever you want to call it, but it's, you know, what, more or less the same game, I assume. I don't know, it's cool, like, this is, I'm in the same boat as I was in with RE2 and RE3, not so much RE4, but the remakes. Here we are again with another remake from a whole different kind of studio or all these other things. But they're so comparable, this and RE, and I don't know. I know I'm more used to RE. This is kind of a comparison video as well, but I just wasn't, I don't know, I wasn't vibing with this game as much as I thought I would. And that kind of kills me because it's like I've always loved the music. I've always loved the songs and the piano and the movies and the fact that the game exists, and when PT came out, and there's always someone playing Silent Hill somewhere. And it is a very different series. It's a lot more slower. It's melodic. It's rhythmic. It's very vibey. The atmosphere, the setting, the vibes, the environment. It just didn't catch me as much. I don't know, like. And of course, attention spans and the mood I'm in is always gonna fluctuate, but especially because like the past 2 months I've been playing nothing but Resident Evil. Again, like replaying. I don't know, like Resident Evil is so much more fun and entertaining and easy to follow and simple and basic, and just kind of, it just works. There's a reason why I think RE is a lot more successful. And Silent Hill just kind of stays in the back. Which is a shame, because I feel like this game is so good and it has so much to offer, but it's so... As much of it's... I'm so on the fence because it's such a good entry point for me, but it's so... It kind of steered me the wrong direction. Like this game in particular... Not even just Silent Hill and in general, but I don't know. I was just confused. I was lost. I didn't know what I was doing, where I was going, who was who. I had no context. I knew nothing. I didn't know the guy. The only thing that looked semi-familiar to me that I saw beforehand was Maria. The when she's in the jail cell or whatever. That's like... and the guy walking around beating weird looking things with sticks and pipes and... I don't know, like... I like that it's so different than what I'm used to, but that's what threw me off too, is like, it just... something wasn't working, something wasn't clicking, and... It's not to say I didn't like the game at all. I did. I played the whole thing. I was excited. I got it early. I went that little bit above and beyond just to kind of get my hands on it as soon as I could have, because I've been wanting to play this game for years. Just any Silent Hill. I don't care if it was 2 or 1 or 3. I feel like personally I'd have a little bit of a better time with 3 if that was remade. Just because I'm a lot more familiar with its material, and I kind of like the story more and the characters and the settings, and here it was just, man, it was very just bare bones and empty, and it was good, but I don't know. Cutscenes are good.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I was just...
Hey, it's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost.
Lost?
Yeah, I'm looking for Silent Hill. Is this the right way?
Yeah. Here's the deal. I love Pyramid Head. I can listen to their theme forever. It's so good. Catchy and I don't know. The whole time playing it, I was just kind of bored, and I was like, there's some scary parts, obviously. Like, there's some good things too. The audio design was great. I like that. I'm not into body horror really, but I like that the enemies are these kind of freaky, weird mannequin. I knew what to expect. I knew what I was getting into going in. It's not like I didn't like Silent Hill at all, and I just decided to play it one day because it was a big game that just came out, or like, this was a very big deal to me, and maybe I just took it too seriously, or I was expecting too much. I don't know. I had a good time with it. I thought it was challenging. I liked how many, things look good. There's a little bit of jank. You stand too close to a door, it's just, spazzing out. A lot of weird little things, like the graphics, a lot of the water reflections were like kind of, spazzing out. I don't know, it feels like the game was like rushed or just slapped together. I have no idea. It was really good and looked good and sounded good. I love the voice acting and the sounds, everything. You really did feel like you were in Silent Hill and you were experiencing and walking along with James on this weird journey, doing whatever the hell he was doing. Another thing for me, I just don't like psychological horror. It's confusing as hell. You're walking around, I was lost so much of the time. I was just like, what is going on? Where am I at? What am I doing? A part of me cared, but I didn't care. I don't know. It's a good horror game, especially for October, and like, it's definitely worth trying out and all these things. But I don't know, maybe I was just wanting more from it, or I'm not sure. I was thinking it's gonna be this giant big thing, like Silent Hill is one of those things that just comes and goes, and oh, it's alive and it's a thing. Remember, guys, it's real and it's here. And then it disappears forever and comes back out of nowhere. It's one of those series that's just barely getting by. I don't know, man. It reminds me of Digimon, kind of like how they'll just randomly come out with some new movies and new series, but it's so far and few in between. And it's really hard to there's no steady level of like consistency. Like, you can tell RE is more of the like, hey, let's just spam this shit and just have it come out every fucking year or whatever, right? Like Call of Duty or something. And Silent Hill just you can tell they're banking on the whole, like, oh, let's just make it, whenever we do show up, let's make it worth it, right? And they really know how to make an entrance and to come in stylish and get people to talk about them. But it's so here and there that it's hard to, like, decide where I'm at with the series and where I stand with it. And not like that really matters, but because I've always liked it, I always will, and I do now. It's just with this game, I don't know. The fact that it was a remake, I don't know if that was really a good thing. And there's gonna be a lot of people that are like, oh, I didn't really need one, or I'm not even trying to go there. It's just mostly, I'm glad I skipped over the old game, but now, and I'm glad I didn't have to sit here and compare the two constantly, because that's just annoying, but the fact that I was just as lost as why did they start with 2 and not 1? I don't know. They did the same thing with RE. They remade 2 with the RE engine. Just because they technically remade 1 does... I don't even count that. It's not... They're two... It's night and day difference. So... I don't know. Like, I'm now... Because now I'm, like, curious, and it's just agitating. Like, is 2 a sequel? Did 1 lead into 2? Did 2 go... had anything to do with 1? I don't know. It's funny, I saw this one comment that was like... And it stood out to me. Oh, you know, playing as... James looking for a wife, running around in the fog. I just thought that was so funny, because it was like the most simplest, basic, easy way to explain basically the entire game. Obviously, it's not that... It's not really like that. I mean, that's the general consensus, but like... The game opened up a lot more later, which thank God it did, because it really added to... Okay, now some different settings, now some... Dude, there was like, what, three enemy types the whole game? That's crazy. There was not much for variety there, but... God, I don't know, man. It was just weird. It was like Dead Space stomping, like the aggressive, like... It just felt so weird to play. Like, something just felt so off between the graphics and then getting used to the game and the lore and the story and the whatever the hell's going on. Yeah, it was cool when the theme song would hit in here and there. It was cool when, like, the siren, you'd hear the siren. Or, it was cool seeing what I knew of Silent Hill, seeing that come over to this game. It was, but it wasn't much. There's a lot of people that this was their first Silent Hill game as well. And I think we kind of like subconsciously choose to do it that way, even whether we have access to the old games or we want to go that route or do it at all, whatever. You know, this was supposed to be a 10 out of 10, man, a masterpiece. It was kind of rough. It was just... I had a good time playing it. I enjoyed, like, the puzzles were really challenging. They were so vague, and I remember a homeboy saying how, like, Resident Evil puzzles can be hard here and there, but I mean, what, 90% of them are, you know, very much doable, really. There might be that 1 or 2 you have to look up or something, whatever. But man, the puzzles in this game was crazy. I was like, what do you want me to do? What? This is my face like half the time. Huh? Every time I get hit, I'm like, what? The whole game was just a giant mindfuck. God damn. Yeah, the gameplay was good. Yeah, the gameplay, ooh. I gotta say, the weapons weren't exactly super exciting. You didn't really get a lot, I don't know. I'm so spoiled because of RE. That's what that's what I think a lot of it ruined this for me, is like, I didn't play this back in the day. You know, I don't really watch gameplay of this. I'm so used to watching and playing Resident Evil that... And that's a whole different game. That's zombies. I realize they're like... They... Obviously, but they're both Japanese games. They're both big horror survival franchises. You need one with the other. You know, it's duality, it's whatever. And that's why they go hand in hand as much as they do, whether, you know, people want to see it that way or not. I just didn't have the greatest time ever. I had a decent time, but it was it just felt so forced. Like, I just wanted it to be done and like move on, and it kind of just dragged on, and it was really cool. And about halfway in, I started to appreciate it more, just playing it at all and going out of my way to get it. And it, you know, it's tough, man, because like, you know, game's not cheap. You gotta consider your budget and your storage space, and this is the one game I went out of my way for in a long time because I knew it was gonna be worth it. I wanted it so bad, and I just, it, like, every bone in my body was just fiending for this game and just craving it so bad. But I like the chase of Silent Hill. That's what I think a lot of it comes down to, is that I think once I got my hands on it and started playing it, it just wasn't what I thought. Like, it was exactly what I expected it to be, as far as like, oh, the weird little monsters and but a lot of the times that, and okay, it did its job. Like, I felt helpless, I felt dread, I felt a lot of things. The game did go into like a lot of deep stuff, which doesn't really affect me, but dude, I don't know, this game is a lot, dude. But the graphics, the gameplay, the story, the lore, the settings, it's definitely something you don't really forget, or it'll make an impact on you, it'll affect you, but that's what I was like, just up and down with the game the entire time. At least with Resident Evil, there's like some kind of baseline there, you know? This game, I was like, I don't know if I love it or hate it, I don't know, I just don't know. And the fact that I can't make up my mind on it at all, that's what worries me, is because it's like, well, do I hate it or not? You know, I don't feel like that should be that hard to determine. But I feel like a lot of peeps might say about the same thing. Like, the only ones that are really gonna like this that much are the fanboys. Easily. Like, if they're looking past all the problems, that's kind of on them, because it's like, there are problems here, and you gotta look at these things, and... But it's all out of love. I'm not trying to bag on or shit on the game, because I'm glad I played it. I'm glad I got in on it when I did. I'm thankful and happy to have experienced it. But who knows, maybe if this game is well received, if it's liked enough, if it gets the love that I feel like I wish I could give it, give us Silent Hill 3, man. Remade. Give us, go back to 1 and remake that. Christ, dude. Yeah, I don't know. It was cool when, like, it went Silent Hill mode, the game. It was cool when... I'm not leaning one way or the other. I'm not saying it was complete shit or it was really good. I want this to get more support. I want it to get more love. I want to like it more. I mean, yeah, this is me just being picky and nitpicking things. Okay, fine. I'm not even, like, talking about anything really specific, like the UI or the design or the menus or... I don't know, a lot of that's just looking into it a little too much, but... I liked all the options it had. I liked I thought the voices were really quiet though. It was really tough to balance out the audio for me. I just like I wanted the voices to kind of show up, and then it's this whole thing, but you had a lot of accessibility options. It was just a lot. It was really overwhelming. Especially that first day. Yeah, you come back to it, maybe you might start getting a little bit of a grasp on what's going on, but like the navigation wasn't terrible. I probably prefer these maps over RE any day, honestly. Like at least I kind of had an understanding of where to go and what to do for the most part. The only thing that bugged me was like all the puzzles and the... God, I don't know. Like the whole game just felt like a chore. Like I was just kind of... Especially the combat, I was like really holding my breath. Like there's no room for error. This game's really hard. Difficulty aside, just playing the damn thing. Holy shit. But yeah, I don't know. I've always liked Silent Hill, but I've always stood with it in a weird way because it takes a backseat so much. It chills on the back burner so much, so often, and I want there to be more of it. I really do. I want more of this because going back, I don't play old games. I don't play retro games. I like today's graphics. I like today's technology. That's a whole different rant, but I'm glad this came out. I think I really needed it. I needed to know where I stood with this series for so long, but a part of me wishes I never played this at all. A part of me misses beforehand where I just liked Silent Hill because of Silent Hill. Now it's like I played this game and I guess I don't really like it more or less than I did before, but what I wanted was to like it even more. And now all I can do is sit here and kind of just wait for more, and hopefully that does happen. And I think this was a good entry point into kind of a next phase that they could have, but it just fell a little flat for me. Like I thought James was a good guy. I liked the people. I liked the character. I liked it. I didn't love it. There were parts where I was like, damn, I really like this game, but it was like, it kind of came and go in sections, like, I don't know. It was aight. There's really not much else to it. I don't know. But yeah, Silent Hill 2.